guys, today we're going to make a piece that's inspired by Jasper Johns, and we're going to show texture. To do that, we're going to use texture plates. When you use a texture plate, you feel for which side feels bumpier. This side feels bumpier, so that's the side I want. You have a paper that has a grid. It has lines on it that creates different squares. You're going to take a pastel and you're going to fill each section with a color. So I'm starting with the pink there. And you can see that my texture plate is right below where I'm working. Now, right in the middle of that grid there, I run out of my texture plate. So I'm gonna scoot it over, so again, it's underneath. This does not work very well if you color with your pastel like this, with the point. It works much better if you lay it down on its side and move it back and forth. And you can see I'm having each area with a little bit of texture. I'm going to show you right now what happens if I don't move my texture plate. You can see that in that section there, I don't have any of the pattern. That would be a way for you to know that you forgot to move your texture plate. You can switch texture plates if you'd like throughout the lesson. So I'm going to switch to this wavy line. And I can even kind of move back and forth with different colors. Now what we're going to be doing is filling these with letters or numbers if you choose. I'll let you decide. And we're going to do a watercolor resist. That's where you paint on top of where you used pastels. Now this is called a texture plate because a texture is how something feels. The texture plate feels bumpy. And when you look at my paper almost looks bumpy. But in fact, my paper isn't bumpy. This is called visual texture. It looks like it has texture, but my paper itself is flat. There is no texture to my paper. It is all an illusion or a trick you're playing on the viewer. Now, when we add the watercolor on top, you don't need to be careful to stay away from your pastel. Oil pastel and watercolor do not like each other. They are not friends and they don't want to go near one another. So you can paint right over top and the paint will scoot off the pastel because it doesn't like the pastel. So now I'm ready. I'm ready for painting. I have liquid watercolors and a paintbrush and water. With liquid watercolors, you don't need to add water. You use the water to rinse your brush. So when you change colors, it's clean. So the water isn't to go in to the paint. And you can see right here how cool that is. Do you notice how that orange is showing through? Even though the blue is darker and should cover it up, I'm still seeing the orange because this is a resist. Remember, they don't like each other. They want to get away from each other. And that works to our advantage because it makes for some really cool art. You'll notice that I'm coloring this by square. I'm not just filling my whole paper with paint. I'm choosing a square and I'm filling that one square with color. And then I'm rinsing and switching to another color for another square. It looks a lot more interesting if you use variety. Variety is when you use a variety of different colors or materials or just different stuff in your art. So you can see that the viewer will be more interested because I have a variety of colors happening here. Now I'm only painting an area one time. That means if there's already paint on it, I don't go over it and paint it again. There's no point in that. So I'm looking for spots that I have not painted and I am adding paint only to those. As I'm painting, I'm remembering that my paintbrush is like a ballerina. Ballerinas dance on their tiptoes. Ballerinas never ever scoot around on their bottoms because nobody wants to go to the booty scooting ballet. So keep your ballerina on his or her tiptoes as they are dancing around your paper. Now when I'm done painting these, I need to let my work dry because the next step is going to be to add a letter or a number in sequence to each of these areas. So what that means is I would write A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That's in sequence. Sequence means order. Or if I choose numbers, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, time for it to dry. We'll meet back to add our sequence. Guys, now it's time for me to choose between letters or numbers. I have 28 spaces here. So if I choose letters, I'll have 2 leftover spaces, and I'll show you what to do with those. So I'm gonna run you through real quick if you chose to do numbers, and you'll have a paper at your desk that shows you. I would put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, and 28. 1 number in each area. Now, it can get tricky because you have to make your numbers kind of small to fit those double digits. I'm going to do letters here. So I'm going to start with the number A since it's the first letter in the alphabet. Sometimes when I start using these paint markers, I have to go and make my line a couple of times. Sometimes they're dried out. You don't want to squeeze them. You just want to do the line a couple of times. So the first letter in the alphabet is the letter A. The next letter is the letter B. Then C. So each square gets a different letter, and those letters are going in the order of the alphabet. So E, F, G. Now where it can get tricky is now I'm going to go down to the next line, and I'm going to make the letter H, I, J. Sometimes if I lose track of where I am, I'll say the alphabet in my head. So let's say I forgot what comes after J. I'm going to start at the beginning. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. L, M, N, O, P. So you can kind of sing the alphabet slowly if that helps you, or you can just follow along on the worksheet. Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. So now you see you have 2 extra spaces. I'm going to give you choices. You could do punctuation, like a question mark, or an exclamation point, like I'm saying the alphabet really loud. And then maybe I'll even put a symbol in my last area, a little heart. So now I have my whole alphabet and all kinds of texture happening. I don't just have all the letters in the alphabet, I have them in alphabetical order. Great job.